Hello, you beautiful people. Welcome to the Dear Dad podcast. This is the place where we address dad dynamics and discuss personal experiences, stories, and poem submissions to help provide a platform for healing while simultaneously uplifting one another. Let's change the dad narrative all around. Let's go. Let's grow. Hello, you beautiful people. Thank you again for joining me at Dear Dad podcast. My name is Jamson Darius, aka BJ. And I am here with a special guest. And I'll say this so many times, and there's a reason why I say it so many times, because everybody that I come in contact with is either friend or family or very close friend. And this guy right now, we grew up together. We was in the same church. So, I'm not going to steal his shine. He has his own story as dadhood. And I'm going to let him tell you. I'm going to let him express how it was to be a dad and how it is to be a dad.
I so appreciate this. Long overdue, man. How you doing?
Man, good. Like I said, longtime friends. We grew up in the same church, man. We went through so much. I know I can honestly say that we went through so much. We grew up a lot. So who is Daniel Marcellus?
I mean, that's a good question. And I guess the best way to answer that is to kind of say Daniel is definitely not the same Daniel that you grew up with. You know what I mean? We've had our times, and I think I've matured through experiences through the years.
Right.
I've matured, just kind of just growing into myself, just growing into the man that I am, for the most part. So who am I right now? Daniel is a guy who's very committed to his family. Committed to doing things the right way, committed to his wife, committed to his kids. And, I try to I'm kind of in the space right now in my life where, I just try to just give as much as I can, to my family so that they can be prepared for when, they do their things and
Right.
when my kids grow up and things like that. And so, from the Daniel that's coming out, kind of real wild, in that sense of the word, just, going crazy, doing whatever we want to do, kind of growing up. For the most
Right.
part, definitely matured a lot since then. Had a lot of humbling experiences along the way. So, that's who I am right now, man. Just somebody who's ultra committed, looking at life, taking it, a day at a time, but really trying to, I'm in the sense right now where I try to focus and make sure that I have things set up for my family for the future, so that's in the space that I'm in right now.
Right.
Things together, but hardworking, kind of God-fearing man still. So that's the space that I'm in right now, B.
Oh man, that's beautiful. That was beautiful. I love it, man. Man, look, like I said, I know I'm gonna say a couple of times we grew up together, man.
Yep.
We grew up together as kids. We went through our rebellious phase. We went through our crazy phase, and then we had to grow up. When adulthood hits you, it hits you hard at times. And again, even with your dad, I know your dad personally. I literally would go to your house. We would have dinner. We would have parties. We would have get together. We had prayer night. Like I literally, when I say I know Daniel, I know Daniel. I know Daniel. But again, I only know what I have experienced with you. Like our childhood and stuff like that, the surface. But there's always something more deeper. I don't know the full degree of your dad. I don't know the full degree of your dadhood.
My dad, I mean, you see, this is the beauty of it, right? My dad is kind of like, he's a staple. He's a he's a cornerstone for the church. Definitely one of the founding fathers of Marija. And this is the cool thing about it, right? It's like what you grew up to see my dad is kind of like what I grew up to see with my dad, right? He was never any different than he was with his own kids than when with everybody else. So it's interesting. I mean, you've come to the house, you've kind of chilled with us, you've dealt with my dad on numerous occasions on any different things. Those limited times that you did, just imagine him. I have him full time for those amount of times, right? My dad was an awesome person. Kind of growing up with my dad, listen, he was strict as all hell, right? And when you're young, you always look at that and you're saying, hey, my parents has got to be the worst parents ever. And it's not until you become a parent yourself, you start to kind of realize, oh, you know what? I kind of see the method to his madness. You start to see why certain things were happening. or why he chose certain decisions in that part of your life, just to kind of make you a better person, obviously, to set you on the right path. So my dad was everything to me. I think that, my brothers and sisters, everybody has their own little experience that they have with their dad, their own little personal experience that they have. But for me, being the youngest, the baby, I think that my dad had a lot of practice with my sisters and my brothers. So by the time he got to me,
Right.
it was just like, everything lined up. And it was just like, yeah, you know what? Daniel, I figured out how to do a lot of things. I got these kids, I figured it out. So by the time he got to me, he already kind of had that, really tried to just keep me into church. Always kept me around my friends, my family.
Right.
And he the music for him was a big thing. So always kind of instilling some kind of structure, although at the time I didn't understand it, but instilling structure into my life so I could have something to focus on to keep you away from all of those, worldly evils or external distractions that, can easily get you off of the right path in life. So, he kind of associated it that way. And with the strict Haitian culture mindset, you know what I mean? It's just like, yo, listen, you're going to school, you're going to do music, you're going to church, and that's it, right? So he was always really really strict on that. But my dad's everything. My dad was everything to me. And that's one thing that I do appreciate with him, is that, he never treated me differently than he would treat my friend. And that's why I say, like, with you growing up, it'd be fine. Listen, I do something wrong, my dad would be the first one to beat my butt. But guess what? He's gonna beat your butt too. He's gonna beat your sister's butt. He's gonna be.
That's true.
He's like, listen, I'm not. He doesn't discriminate against anybody. So I might have gotten hit first, but everybody was gonna get hit after me, and disciplined the same way. So that's what I like about my dad. He's always cool, and he still remains cool, till this day.
Yeah, man. I mean, again, I know your dad just as a cool, poised, just relaxed guy. Like I don't think I've ever seen him lose his cool. It's just so like chill. He's so chill. Like I've never seen him lose his cool. He has this demeanor that just like you gravitate to. I love being around your dad. He's so calm. It's collected. It's like everything about him is so cool. Like I honestly, genuinely love being around him. He's so positive whenever he talks. Actually, there's this one experience that I had with your dad.
Yeah.
So I had this interesting story about your dad. When I first started into Seventh-day Adventists, I used to hate praying. I used to really just like despise praying because it wasn't something I was used to. And I remember it was a Saturday night where we either had Vespers or we were closing the Sabbath or we were opening the Sabbath. I think it's a Friday night, I'm going to say. And that's when the church was starting to build in Manhattan. And he was asking some people to pray. And I was just like, I don't think I want to pray. And he came to me after everybody prayed. He was just like, don't you ever deny a prayer. Don't ever say no to when somebody asks you to pray for them, because you never know who you're going to bless. You never know who you're going to impact. And prayer is not only for you, it's for other people. So I'm telling you right now, whenever anybody ever asks you to pray, you never say no. I was so shook. And the thing, I wasn't scared. I was going to say I was shook, but I wasn't shook. I was so like, I was taken back. And I literally sat down and I absorbed it. And I was just like, wow, okay, cool. All right. And no lie, Daniel, no lie. From that day on, anybody that asked me to pray, I was just like, yes, I'm going to do it. Because it was uncomfortable for me. But in order for me to be comfortable in it, I had to do it more often because I wasn't used to it. But because he approached me about it and told me, this is the reason behind it, this is why you have to do it, literally impact me for the rest of my life. And I have that story to tell as a testimony of that he's one of the individuals that literally propelled me and pushed me forward to actually taking my Christian walk seriously.
Yeah, listen, that's powerful. That is so powerful. It sounds up my dad's alley. For the most part, I know we've talked so much on just him being kind of like cool, calm, and kind of collected. I mean, we had a lot of moments growing up where he was like that. I remember one time we were we used to do the band. Like we used to travel all the time. Like it was really heavy. at a certain point of our stretch, we used to go away every weekend, and we used to go to practice and stuff like that. I don't remember where we were going this particular time. Had a couple of blowouts, but for the most part, we were in the van, and I think we were driving to Victory Lake or something, and the wheel blew out. Like, it was crazy. We were all the way on one side, and the wheel blew out. We know we had plenty of wheels blowing out in our history, but this particular time, it was just so crazy. I think it was one of the first times that it had happened. Van full of kids, and he just calmly just pulls to the side, like, all right, let's go. Get the tire out, get the car up, and you got a whole bunch of kids, probably between the age of 13 and 18 at that point, just going crazy, whatever. And he's still trying to stay calm and change the tire really calmly, and took us the rest of our destination. And it's crazy because you think about that, and I think about it now, and it's just like, you know what? I'm so fearful of getting like my tire blown out. I'm like, I don't want to go. I don't want to be out here or whatever. But it's interesting because, I always think back to that time in moments like that. And, I know it's like a small moment, but it always kind of instills in me like, you don't have to be afraid. Like, I want to be like him. And I think that he kind of put that in, because there's a lot of ways, there's a lot of different situations where I use that kind of, just that kind of example to get me through a lot of things. Like, even with my job, I've had jobs where, I was laid off and stuff like that. And then you start to panic and things like that. But it only lasts for like a second. Right. Because I think about, listen, my dad could change a tire with a whole bunch of screaming kids in it or whatever. I'll be all right. I could find another job, or I could do that. Or there's not anything that, you have to be worried about that, you can't get over. And I think he had a lot of little lessons like that where, I don't remember like sitting down with my dad and him telling me this. Like, he would never tell me this, but I could see it through his actions and things that he did all the time. And me being mature and the person that I am now, looking back, it's like, wow, he showed me that. Like, that's what he was trying to do. And it's never a conversation where I sit down. Most of the time, my dad was just telling me, hey, you do this, you do that. That's the type of relationship we had. It wasn't ever like a sit down, hey, let me explain to you this, and let me talk to you about this sort of thing. It was kind of like, I know how this is going to end up. So if you follow what I tell you, you'll be fine. And now that I'm mature, kind of looking back, you see all of the actions that he did. You start to realize, okay, well, I was questioning why before. Now it's kind of like, oh, wow, I see why. Right. And not only do I see why, it's kind of like I'm implementing it into my life now, right, to kind of have a good situation for my kids, have a good situation for my family. Don't fear anything going forward. You can't show fear, right? The kids are looking at you and they're looking towards you. You can show emotion for sure, but they look at me like, like their hero, and I look at my dad like my hero. Like, yeah, he taught me, don't be afraid in little situations. Everything's gonna be all right. So that's just one thing that I kind of take from him going through my life right now. I mean, my dad is so important to me, and so important to how I live my life, with the different things that he was able to kind of show me when growing up, and just the way that he treated me, took care of me, took care of my friends, took care of everybody that was around him, which is important, because that for me is important too. That's another aspect, like looking at my dad and how much he did for other people. Obviously the church community was a strong point. It helps me have a sense of community for me, and be able to not only do things for myself and my family, but also, everybody who may need help, people outside, outside of my family who may not be as lucky, right? Their kid may not be, as fortunate as I have been, and just to show that helping hand. And that's one thing again that my dad has kind of taught me in instilling in my kids. It's not just about you. It's kind of just got to think about everybody, especially the less fortunate, and kind of build together and support and kind of move on, especially in this day and age, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
yeah. I mean, again, I know I'm talking, this is all about you. I know this is about you, but your dad, honestly, I can go on and on. Like he has such a big impact on everybody he touches. He has that way of doing things. He has the way of impacting. I know I said it before. He has a way of pulling you towards him, and his demeanor and his character, and he's so, like, again, he's mad chill. He's mad chill, and I really admire that about him. I really take that in, and I take those characters and I take those personality traits and I incorporate it in myself, and I think back and I say, who in my life impact me in certain ways? And he's definitely one of those individuals that definitely like put a stamp on making a difference in my life. And all his characteristics and the way he's carry himself, and I can always reflect to that. And even you yourself said, just your father is a person that just likes to help others. He put others before himself, and he does a lot of these things. He does that just like as a norm. For if you're looking back now, or even looking present right now, do you see any characteristic in you that you find in your dad? And also, do you find it in your kids?
I think that I guess the one thing, and just going back to it, like we go back to the band and stuff like that. One thing that my dad always instilled in me was just the hard work part of it, right? That hard work ethic is something that he always made sure that I had and that I held to heart. Now, I know, like, a lot of Haitians coming from Haiti, everybody kind of worked hard. That was the one thing that they had. Everybody came here, found work, worked hard. You try to instill that in your kids. I think my dad really, that was a priority number one, at least that I felt kind of growing up for him. When he first introduced me to music, and the guys will tell you too, like I liked it, but I did not really love it.
It wasn't a choice.
It wasn't a choice at that point. I mean, there was a point in my life. I mean, when I was younger, when I first started, doing the band, it was just like, all right, I don't want to learn. It's hard. It's hard to learn an instrument, and there was many times where it's just like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to play this. I'm not good at it, and I want to quit. Or I want to do something else. And he would never, ever let me do anything else. It was like, no, you're going to do the trumpet. You're going to work on this. You don't like it. I don't care. You're playing a special song on Saturday. And that's what's going to happen. And it was almost a forced kind of learning experience to me, right? And for me. And for my friends too. The difference is between me and them was, we used to have band practice every Thursday, and they would only have to practice on Thursdays, right? But I'd have to go home and practice every other day of the week because I lived with the guy. So it's funny because I even now, like, I talk to my wife all the time. Like, I remember those days, and it's just so hard to kind of think about it. But there was a point in time, BJ, where it was almost like a light switch, right? It was just a point in time where I hated it so much, and then we started to go away. And then you started to go away a lot. You started to realize, okay, this music, I'm with my friends, I'm doing this. It just became part of life at that point. It wasn't no more hating it. It was good. And then when I went to school, I got a scholarship off of it. Then you start to see, oh, all right, this is still fun in college. And it wasn't until after college when, you're paying back the student loans or whatever the case may be, you're talking to people like, oh, I got all these student loans. And you're like, yo, I don't have that. I don't have that many. I had a partial scholarship going to St. John's. So I didn't really have that many student loans kind of coming out, which is awesome. And so I try to do that. I try to instill that work ethic in my kids. So hard in these days because there is so much for them to get caught up with. It's not just music. There's so much other activities that they can do. So I really try to get them to do, one thing. I mean, my son and I, I try to get him on the basketball track. I am more than sure that you're going to have the measurables. Your dad is tall. You're going to be tall. Like, all right, let's focus on basketball. And I try to keep them on that. They got the video games and all kinds of stuff, whatever, that are a distraction. And I always try to go back to my dad and say, what would my dad do if I didn't want to play the trumpet and I wanted to go play video games? We already know the answer to that one. So, I try to just, and I do a lot more explaining with my son, which is something that my dad never gave me the courtesy to do. He didn't sit down and have to explain it. It was just do this. But I try to explain to my son, like, hey, listen, this is what it's going to get you, right? Learning from all of the stuff my dad taught me. My dad made me practice a lot. And at a certain point, I reap the benefits of it. And I tried to explain to him, hey, listen, when you practice on a smaller scale, when you practice and practice and practice, you'll be able to do it, right? Like, keep trying to shoot that jump shot, and you'll be able to make it one day. As you get stronger, as you continue to work out, as you continue to build yourself up, you'll be fine. Keep working towards sounding out your letters and reading your sight words. You'll be able to finish this book in 2 weeks because you'll know all the words and you'll be able to go through it. Like small things like that. So that's what I kind of do it with my son, with my daughter, teaching them in little small portions, just to help them understand the work ethic, right? The hard work that goes into anything, and then the result that you get at the end.
Right.
And we do that in everything, even in church and Adventurer. They always want them to do these verses for any kind of special program. All right, hey, listen, let's get memorizing the verse. It's really long, but we're gonna take a couple of words a day, and we'll take a week, go through all of the words on Saturday. They do it perfectly. There you go. Nice. Reward ice cream. That's what we're doing. So kind of just showing them, hey, listen, your work, the work ethic and the time that you put into something, especially if you want it, is going to be paramount, because at the end of the day, that's what you need to do. And I think for Black kids, it's even more important for you to do it, right? Because this world isn't going to do them any favors, when they get older. So unfortunately, they're put in a position where you got to do better than everybody else. You got to do better than that kid next to you. So if I have them grow out without that work ethic, meaning, they're going to think that everything's handed to them on a silver platter, you've got a problem. You've got a problem with them. And I don't want them to be caught by surprise in that respect. So I always try to, give it to them. They're my kids. I love them to death, but you always try to give it to them. Listen, I want you to take the hard way to everything. That's the kind of way where I kind of grew up. I want you to do the hard work and stuff like that, and take the hard road to everything, so you can see what it's like and you can come out a little bit stronger. In the background, I'm doing everything, right? I'm making sure that they're set up for their future to try to make it as easy as possible to when they get to that point. But, for me personally, I just think it's important to have them do things in terms of, just understanding the foundation of it and knowing how to do things, the long way, the hard way, so they can appreciate the goal at the end. And then, as they get older, hopefully they hit a couple of good points, and they'll be able to kind of take it from themselves. And that's one thing that I think my dad did show me. He never gave me any shortcuts in anything. It happens a long way, and you get the reward, or the harder the path, the sweeter the reward, right? So it's been great, and I appreciate him for that, because I definitely see that now. I'm in the corporate world. They don't do favors there. So, but nothing comes to me as a surprise. It's just like, all right, yeah, I got to work hard to get this. And that's what it is. I do what I have to do, and I don't take anything from anybody. And it's been instilled in me from a very young age, not to expect anything to be handed to me. You got to earn everything you get. And everybody knows, everybody who's my friend knows me. All right, yeah, I work hard, but I play hard too. You know what I mean? And I think that that's something that I instill for my kids. My dad's taught me that too. Hey, listen, you're gonna work hard, you gotta play hard too. So you can have a sense of that feeling. So when my kids do something good, I make sure I reward them very handsomely for it if they put in the work for it. So yeah, my dad's super important, and a lot of the things that he has taught me kind of growing up, I've always tried to kind of hand down to them. And teach them that way too. You just want your kids to be better than you at the end of the day. So that's what I kind of strive for.
Yeah, it's super cool, man. It's super cool. So many things that you have learned. You don't realize how much you've gained from your father, from your dad, until you get older, until you become a father yourself. You don't see these things at all. When was the last time that you told your dad that you love him?
I told my dad that I love him. It's a good one. That is a good one. I'd say probably like 2 weeks ago. I told him I love. It was just one of my regular visits home, kind of just talking to them. With the whole Corona thing, I haven't seen them so much. This pandemic going on, just for their safety and minds, for the most part, just trying to keep quarantined, and just regular talking, catching up, and I always like to end off my conversations with my dad saying that I love him, saying, just really showing him how much he appreciates him. He's on the older side now. So, I think that he appreciates that as well. Coming from his kids. And it was never a strange thing for me to tell him that I love my dad dearly. I mean, and I always try to let him know, especially during these times, because he's just probably he's not seeing the same amount of people that he does because they're not going to church as much. He's very inside. This is a very tough time for him, for the most part. So I always try to like keep connected and really show him and tell him that I love you. I do that with my kids as well. I try to tell my kids that I love them as much as possible, 10, 15 times a day, for the most part, and I do it intentionally,
right?
Because this world is crazy, and nobody's gonna do them any favors, and they're gonna be quick to judge them and put them down. And I know that other people are going to do that to them. So I definitely don't want them to think that coming from their own household, right, where their safe zone, I don't want them to get an ounce of that from me. So I definitely don't want to give them any kind of negative vibes or anything like that. So it's always very positive, very I love you, very this, very that. Even when I'm teaching tough lessons, it's always like, I'm doing this because I love you. That's why. And I think it's very important for people to do that and take that stand, especially for our kids. They're going to face a lot of stuff out there in this world. So I try to tell my dad I love you all the time, or as much as I can. He does the same, and I try to do that for my kids too. And hopefully that becomes a thing for them, where they do it for me when they get older, and they'll do it for their kids as well.
Nice. Absolutely. As you can tell, I can't really avoid the kid in the background. I can't.
It's all part of it.
I know. I don't worry. I'm not worried about it. But that's part of being a dad. That's part of being a father. I mean, I can't change it. I can't like mute him.
No. And that's the beauty of it, right? You can't mute your kids.
That's a good thing. So you know what? Even when he was growing up, I had this tendency where when we were driving, I would turn off the radio, or I would turn off the music, so simply because I just want to listen to him just jibber jabber, or just talk to himself or sing to himself. But those are the little essence that I like about being a dad. Just a smidget of it. So before we go to dadhood, if you had the chance, if your dad was sitting in front of you right now, right in front of you, if you want to tell him anything, what would it be?
I don't know. I mean, I think, listen, I only say I don't know because I talk to my dad often enough where we don't really have too much. But, if he was sitting right next to me, I would emphasize that I do love him. That's my guy. I'd probably be talking about how much I appreciate him and everything that he's done for me. For the most part, I always try to kind of remind him, especially in these times, that he is kind of that one rock for me that really sets standards for me for the rest of my life, and for my kids. I'd remind him that I am where I am because of him, and all of the lessons that he's low-key taught me, for the most part, because I don't know where I'd be without the things that he's been able to kind of instill in me from a very young age. And I'd probably have those conversations, while we talk about sports and things like that. And while he's telling me some stuff about church and da. So he's always kind of going in that direction as well. But it's all love. Yeah. I think that would probably be the extent of our conversation.
Absolutely. Awesome. Change the dynamic a little bit.
Yeah.
Now let's get a little bit even more personal. So tell me about dadhood.
Dadhood, man. It's just such a different experience. I think it comes with just having the responsibility of somebody else, under your wing and under your arms. Somebody else that you're responsible for. In my case too, two little people that I'm responsible for. So you can look at it as kind of like a lot of pressure. Am I doing it right? Am I doing this? There's so many ways you can look at it, and there's so many times where I do kind of question myself on whether I'm doing it right or whether I'm doing a good job or whether I could be better. So that just comes with the territory. But from a positive angle, it's no better feeling, man. It's a great blessing just to be around those kids, knowing that you created them for the most part, right? Yeah. They're part of you, and seeing these little people in your likeness, for the most part, they're awesome, and you can see their little bit of characteristics, your characteristics in them, and you can see them grow and just kind of just enjoy life, and it's so good and so fulfilling, and so rewarding as well every single day, even the days where they make me upset. It's so rewarding to kind of be in this dadhood figure, and it's been interesting, especially with this pandemic over the last 3 months. I've spent a lot more time with them than I have at probably any point in their life outside my daughter. But for the most part, I mean, you think that you'd get tired of them and stuff like that. Like, listen, they're a headache, but at the end of the day, like, I love spending time with my kids, and just being around them and seeing them grow.
As you were growing up, even before you became a dad, before you became a husband, even when you were a husband and before you became a dad, did you have any idea what kind of dad you wanted to be? And if you did, are you that person now?
Ooh, I have no idea. I have no idea. It's crazy. I mean, I met Martha at a very young age. When we got together, Martha, my wife. So, I mean, I've never really thought about what kind of dad I wanted to be. I think there were times when I was younger, I guess when I was mad at my dad, I was like, you know what, I'm not going to be the type of dad that disciplines my kids or is that strict. That's not going to be me. I'm going to let my kids do whatever they want, whatever the case may be. I think, you'd want to go in. I kind of had, growing up, kind of like the intention of just being the most coolest dad ever in the world, right? It's just like, I want to be the coolest dad. I think I had those intentions coming in. I don't know. I'd like to say that, I keep it balanced. I'm a very cool dad. My kids get away a lot. They get away with a lot more with me than they do with my wife. I'll tell you that much. So I'm very cool in that respect. And but if there's one thing that I'd say is, like, I do try to keep I hate to harp on the point, but the work ethic and just the strictness and being able to commit to something and follow it through, like the way that my dad kind of instilled for me. Like, it's crazy because there was a point in my life where I hated that the most until I kind of matured and started to figure it out. And now I'm looking at my kids, and it's just like, listen, I got to make sure that they have that because that's what I know. That's the only thing I know, and it's what I've been taught. I know that produces good results. So it's one thing that I try to keep. And if there's anything that I thought before being a dad is like, no, I'm not going to do that with my kids, I definitely do that now. And it's probably a priority for me to make sure that they understand and go through those paths.
Before I mentioned that some of the best times that I have with my son is like, when I was in the car, I just like to hear him, speak. Yeah. One of the best phase of him when he started to actually start smiling and start reacting and start laughing. Those were the best time for me because now I know that he's taking in what I say. He understands what I say to a degree where he's able to smile. And those are one of my best part of being a parent. The best part of being a dad, because now he's able to I'm able to see my reflection in him. So the personality trait that he has, the characteristic that he has, the way he carries himself, the way he does certain things, he is me, and part of my wife as well. But as a man, it's a pride thing, and I see him every day, and I'm taking in these things, and I absolutely love it. I love these moments. I love this time that I'm spending with him. I mean, now I'm working from home, and I'm taking care of him. So I'm a stay-at-home dad, and I'm working, which is not easy at all, bro. Like, it's not easy. But because I know it's not for me, because I know the longevity of it is not for me, it pushes me forward. It could allow me to keep moving forward. So if I feel like I need to like stop one day, I look at this kid and I was like, I can't stop. I got to continue. Everything that I'm doing, I got to do it for him. Everything that I need to do, he's pushing me more and more to continue moving forward, because if I stop, it's him. Just like you said, all the stuff that you're doing right now, even the ethics that you're teaching your kids right now, it's not for just for today. It's for when they grow up, they have that foundation in them. So they can know how hard dad worked, and I can work that hard as well.
Yeah. I mean, my kids they're super motivational tools for me. Just to kind of get through every day. And like you said, it's not easy being a stay-at-home dad. Not a stay-at-home dad, working from home, and being kind of like a full-time dad with the kids at home as well. It's hard to kind of do both, but if there's one thing that gets me through the day, is kind of like just looking up and seeing their faces, you know what I mean? And saying, all right, listen, we're going to get through this day. And I've so appreciated working from home. Coming from corporate finance, it's tough. Like the Wall Street culture is just kind of like work all day, and you rarely you're home. Up until this pandemic, you're just putting 12, maybe 14 hours a day in the office. So you're rarely home. And when you're home, the kids are usually sleeping, so you don't really get to see them during the week at all. And then, you just have your weekends with them, which, again, you appreciate. But now the dynamic has shifted so much where you're around them all day, now, and you kind of just seeing them all the time. It's beautiful. It is beautiful, and it's motivational where, you just kind of get through your day, and you make sure that, every time you need a little boost, they're up there. And they're up right in front of your face, so you kind of have that motivation to kind of keep going. And you always want the best for your kids. And I think that's something that, I've learned growing up with my dad. He just wanted the best, wanted to put us in really good positions. So you always want to put your kids in really good positions. So you try to make the best decisions for yourself to help you get to that point.
I know I mentioned before, you as well, as far as the memories that you have of your children. And again, I mentioned, just a simple time, just like him looking at me, or him just like talking to me, or able to respond to certain things. Those are great memories that I cherish. Like I really just like I archive those memories, because again, I can't go back. Once today's over, I can't go back. So I'm trying to live within that moment. I'm trying to enjoy that moment. But those times, it's just, those are great memories. What do you like most about being a dad?
For me, it's really simple. I mean, I just like I like the instruction that I get to give them, right? I mean, think about it. As a dad, your one pro that you have is that you've been through it already, right? So, you were 3 years old already. You were 4 years old. You were 5 years old, 6, whatever the case may be. So I like the fact that I get to use my knowledge there and help them along their way. Like my daughter's 8 and 6. And they swear that they can do everything the best and better than everybody. And I'm like, listen, you guys don't know. And I know there's going to be a time where they're probably going to be able to do some things better than me, when they get older. But for the most part, I know I'm the best hide and seeker right now. Okay. Like ain't nobody, none of y'all beating me in hide and seek, but you talk to them, they're like the best hide and seek. And listen, I think I'll put them up against any of the other 8 and 6 year old kids. They'll be all right. And you're not going to be able to find them. But when you play with daddy, listen, this is what it is. So I always try to give them the little secrets, and I use hide and seek as kind of like a simple example of it. So my daughter, oh man, she used to be terrible at hide and seek, kind of like the way my son is now, where he can be hiding somewhere and he'll just making tons of noise and blah, 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 blah. And every day, I used to just train my daughter. We used to play hide and seek all the time, still do. And then just like, listen, when you're hiding, it's good for you not to hide in the same spot every single round, right? You got to learn that. Don't go to the same spot because you're going to get caught. And they're like, okay, cool. And she picked it up. And within like a couple of weeks, she was hiding in different spots. And I'm like, all right, it's getting a little bit more challenging. And then I'm like, all right, hey, listen, another good tip is you got to be as quiet as possible. You can't be in the corner going, right? And just showing them, hey, listen. And in 2 weeks, she picked it up. And then all of a sudden, she started to get it. And now when she hides, you can't even find it. You're like, hold on, all right, game over. She's switching her positions every round. She knows when you're by her, so she gets quiet. If she knows you check the place, she'll go and she'll hide there within the same. She got all of the tricks and tips up her sleeve. And I use that as a simple example because that's kind of like how I treat them with life. You know what I mean? It's just like, listen, I'm going to show you all of the little secrets that you need to know, all of the little things that I know that I can show you. You don't have to step on this landmine. This is what you do. Go around it. Go this way. You know, you need to go to college. Cool. That's fine. This is the best way to do it. You got a bully situation. Hey, listen, try this. It's going to work. Things like that. You know what I mean? So I think for being a dad, that's the best part for me, is just kind of like teaching them those life lessons. You know, I'm ultra kind of extra with it. My wife would say like, "Oh, you go above, you go crazy in your lessons." It does. I mean, I want to make it fun, and I want to make it an experience for them to kind of take with them, so that they don't forget it, and you know, just kind of talk to them about those issues and things that help that you can help navigate them through. So the instruction part of me is the big part, which is kind of like most like my dad, right? It's just like, yeah, he wants to show me how to do things. So me, it's just like showing the kids how to do it, but having them understand why they do it is important for me too, so that they can take those little aspects, those little lessons, and take with them in their life forever, and you know, hopefully kind of pass it down to their kids, and that will help me say, all right, you know what, job well done for the most part. That's the most important part for me.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I just heard you said that you've went through 3 years old, you went through 4 years old, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. You went through all that stuff, so you have an understanding of that. But when you said that, it actually generated this question in my head, or this thought. We went through the age that our kids went through, but one thing that we did not go through, any one of us, you or I, is how to be a father. We don't know how to be a dad. There's no instruction to be a dad. Literally, you can see as much examples around you as you can. You can jot it down. You can like do whatever you can, but there is no hands-on instructions on how to be a dad. Dad is pretty much filling your way around. No, I mean, you can have examples that, like you say, with your father, set a foundation for you, but the way he grew up and raised you is not the same way you're gonna raise your kids. And it's a different time frame. It's a different dynamic. It's different. So fatherhood, or dadhood, should I say? Dadhood is there's no instruction on that. You can't just say, "Oh, I know how to do it now. I know how I'm going to raise my kids. I know how I'm going to better my life." No, you have to take it day by day. You have to slow down and take in those moments, because there's absolutely no instruction for those things. They have therapy for like for marriage couples. This is a section for it where you can go for a couples therapy before you actually get married, but there's nothing for becoming a dad. You know what I'm saying? You don't have an instruction to be a dad. Dad is something you have to want first in order for it to actually work. Because I know that's a lot of the problem that some people go through, where they become fathers, but they never wanted to be a dad. You know, they never wanted to be a dad. So now having a child is a nuisance. It's a problem, because now they don't want to change their ways. They still want to go out partying. They still want to go drinking. They still want to hang out with other girls and all that stuff. Like you losing out on those things. So now you don't have time for your kids, because that you want to continue living your life. And I've always said, dadhood is an evolution. You have to evolve when you become a dad. If you don't evolve, if you don't change, if you don't change your mind frame, you will never be the dad that you were meant to be to your kids, because now you're stuck on your own ways and refuse to grow up.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you're 100% right. I mean, I think that there are no rules to it, right? It's a day by day. It's a day by day process. And you learn as a dad every day too. Not from everybody, not from any person, but you learn from your experiences. You know, like maybe last week I did something differently than I would do this week, right? It might be the same thing, but you'll just learn as a dad, hey, listen, that didn't work. That instruction didn't work too good with Justin. I need to change it up if I'm going to Martha about it or something like that, you know? So as a dad, you kind of go through those experiences, and I agree with you 100%. You do have to want it first, right? And once you want it, then you'll be more inclined to kind of be that person that provides the best for your kids. and you'd want to be part of their life, and you'd want to be able to spend every waking moment with them, so that you can be able to kind of be that person to guide them through, right? Because that's your kid. So I 100% agree with that notion. I feel like, for me personally, my kids are, they're my everything. For the most part, like you can't picture your life without them. And it may be a culmination of, just me wanting to be a dad so bad, all the sacrifices that you put in for them thus far, and just all of the moments that they give you so much joy. And it's just, yes, I want to be that dad. I feel like my kids give me the opportunity to do that. They're great kids. Very fun loving. They have their moments, but for the most part, they're awesome to watch grow. In that respect.
Oh, beautiful! That's so beautiful. So again, I know before I asked you about becoming a dad, and before you become a dad, did you have any idea? So I'm shifting it a little bit. So was there anything that you feel like you could have done different as a dad?
I don't know. I mean, I'd say, like, when becoming a dad, the one thing that you always, I guess, think about is, were you prepared for it? Emotionally, financially, whatever the case may be. So I always kind of look back at it. One thing that I did learn is that there's no real preparedness for it. When you become a dad, I think that you still have the notion on, you should want to be one, or whatever the case may be, but you're never 100% kind of like, oh yeah, I'm ready to be a dad and I'm ready to jump in, because like you said, there's no manual or instructions for it. So I would say, I've always just been kind of like the type of person that always questioned that, whether I had everything set up for my kids. I want it, but you don't want to face any challenges, for the most part. And then once I became a dad, and you realize, hey, listen, there's no way I could have prepared for this. In any sense of the word, it's kind of like, no, there's nothing that I could have done different, or that I'd want to do different, because I don't think there's one simple action or one simple measure that I could have done that would make me more prepared than what I was when I first became a dad. There was nothing. I mean, just give me more prayer, give me more stuff, give me more support. I guess that's fine, but I don't think that more money would have helped my situation, or more anything. I think, once you want to be a dad and you decide, hey, listen, I'm going into this territory, and you become one, it's so much. It's so much on your shoulders, and so much stuff, and there's so much emotion and so much feelings going into that. I don't think there's anything that at least for me personally, there was nothing that I could have done any extra that would have made me feel any different in my situation.
That's amazing. That's great. That's really, really great. So now let's going back to the next question. So now I'm just gonna ask you to just actually just open your mind right now. I know we have a lot of memories that we have of our children, and from birth to graduations and all that stuff. There's a lot of especially your kids are a little bit older than mine. Yeah, so you have a little bit more rich memories of your kids. If you could jot it down into 3, what would be 3 great memories of you being a dad?
Oh, 3 great memories. Interesting. All right, so I don't know about 3, but I definitely know that there's one. There's one in there. So my daughter, she was born 25 weeks. So she came really, really early. My first kid, I was going to be, it was a very interesting kind of time for us, when me and my wife were like, listen, we want to have a kid. We had our kid. We were thinking we were going to go through our whole pregnancy, just kind of preparing. And it's just like right when you start to prepare for this thing, you get a call, and life hits you really fast, right? So 25 weeker, a little bit more than a pound, so kind of maybe the size of your cell phone that you might be holding in your hands right now. So that's what she came out as. Obviously, multiple medical issues, a very tough situation there. So that's a huge memory for me, number one, and when she was born. But then in the same line of things, she had a lot of milestones, and she just was a fighter all the way through her pregnancy. So all of those memories, literally every single milestone she hit, from the first time she could walk, to the first time she actually got out of the hospital after like 18 months or whatever, and went to a rehab place where she did her rehabilitation on getting her legs right, eating, things like that. So my daughter holds a lot of the memories. Kind of unfair for my son, but she holds a lot of the big things because of the condition she was born in. And God has blessed us throughout all her years of her life right now, where she's fine. She's went through heart surgeries and a whole bunch of different things that she'd had to kind of fix up in her plate. So we have a lot of memories with Danny, just in that respect, just because she was so young and she had to go through so much to get to the point where she's at. So I would put her at least top two on memories that are there. She definitely has tons of milestones that I could choose from. So it's like, I'd put at least top two there, from the time she started walking to the time she started eating, because these are all big things for a baby, and she did it much later than your normal baby would do it. And there was a time where we didn't even think that she would be doing it at all, right? Like, that was just the reality. It was like, your kid may not eat or walk or talk or hear or see or do any of this stuff again. Like, that's just what you're gonna have. So big milestones there. Justin, what big memory do I have for Justin?
You can leave that last one for him if that's the case.
No particular order. All right. I don't want him to hear this later on. Whatever.
I hold no promises.
My dad put me on number 3 now. Listen, I love my son. I think my son is literally, he probably has the most characteristics towards me, for me. So like, almost everything he does is almost like a splitting image of what I have. And I don't remember too many things when, like lower than, 3 years old, maybe 4 years old. So it was real interesting kind of seeing him, go through all of these things, going through, pre-K, going through nursery school, doing all of this stuff. And he's so bright. He's very smart. So a lot of the stuff that he does is like ahead of his time. You get to read, and he started writing quick. He started counting quick and started doing all of this stuff. And physically, he's so fast, and he has a lot of different things. And he's an outgoing kid, which fits my personality right away. So, he's very confident. He does things that are so out there, and he's not afraid of anything. And I talk to my mom a lot too. She's like, yeah, he reminds me a lot of you. He has a lot of you in him. So some of the memories that I have with Justin are just kind of like just going out there and just watching him. First time he rode his bike, that was a big thing for me. He picked it up in like half a day. It was awesome. I remember taking a little bit longer to ride my bike, but you know what? He picked it up really quick, which is great. I'm not complaining, because my back was on fire for those 6 hours, getting him right. And that sort of thing was so good, and just to see him kind of pick up and wanting to do it and actually doing it. I love to see them put the work in and accomplish stuff. So for him, kind of riding that bike was a big memory. It was a good memory for me, just seeing him kind of ride back and forth and being able to pick it up so quickly. My daughter rides a bike too, but it took her longer to get it. Justin picked it up very quick. And he always surprises me at how quickly he's able to do things, or pick it up, whatever it is. You show him how to do it. Even if he doesn't want to do it, he's going to figure it out. You give him a little bit of instruction, he takes it all the way there. So that's one of a lot of the memories that I hold with him are just his accomplishments and how quickly he does things. So surprised. Love my kids to death, But that's what I kind of hold at heart.
Awesome. Okay, I have three more questions for you, and I'll let you go.
Yeah.
How do you want your kids to remember you?
I want to be a hero, man. I want to be a hero. No. I mean, listen, it's not even about remembering. We've talked so much about life lessons and them taking it. I want them to just always be, I don't want them to always be dependent on me, but I just want them to always take the lessons that I've instilled in them and be able to use it. So I guess I want to be remembered as the person who helped foster their path through the life that they take. If that makes any sense. It's just, I want them to just be I want to be known as the guy that, he's the guy that gave me the tools that I needed to get there, right? And he didn't just give me regular standard tools. He gave me the complex ones that, are going to drive me through those really, really tough situations. And that's who my dad is, right? And he was able to do it in a really cool and fun way, so that I could give them, that sense, that sense of grace kind of coming into their life. So, I definitely want them to remember me as dad. I don't want to be remembered as a tough, strict dad or whatever that helped them get to where they want to be. So I try to balance out as much as possible, but definitely want to be remembered as that person that added that value to their life, in the sense of, just providing the tools that they needed to kind of navigate through it.
Cool. So I'm going to ask you to actually, again, now, if you want to step into a little time machine, your kids the age that they are right now. So I want you to envision them at a later age in their lives. So if they're like 20, 30, 40 years old right now, what message would you leave with your son and your daughter right now?
Ooh, that is a good one. Probably, listen, if they're being the kind of guy that I am, it's probably going to start off with something like, "Ha, I told you so." Yeah, I mean, listen, that's funny. That's how I talk to them. It's like, hey, listen, you're 30, 40 years old. Listen, life so far for you should have been easy. If I did my job right, you probably had some challenges, but hopefully you did not have an issue navigating through it, right? And I think that, and I'm confident in the way that I showed you how to do things and the way that you've been able to navigate through your life, that you have set a really good foundation for yourself that will set you up for the rest of your life, right? And I want you to take that information, and I want you to, first and foremost, make sure that you instill it in your day-to-day life. And number two, and probably lastly, to make sure you instill it in your kids, right? And keep that generation going, and keep those same values that I've handed down to you, to them, as well as additionally extending it out to your community. Not only your kids, but, your friends, your community, and just look out for other people, not just your family, and pass on the lessons and the values that I've given you to other people as well. And I think that would be my message for them, because that has helped me so much. I mean, I love my dad, I love my parents, my brothers and sisters and everything. And they have been so supportive, especially my dad, obviously being the rock and the number one priority in our family. But a lot of the lessons I've learned didn't just come from him. Like, I had older sisters that taught me tough lessons too. I had an older brother that taught me tough lessons. So I would tell them, listen, take all the values and all the things that I've taught you, because those are going to be important to you, but don't forget the other lessons that you learn through life every day too, right? Through your friends, through your experiences, and really use those as well. That would probably be my message for them to kind of take forward.
Amazing. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm gonna let you go. So so to wrap up, what are some messages that you want to leave with the dads, the fathers, the father figures out there?
Listen, it's not easy. We know that, right? It's not an easy road. There's nothing designed for it. no instructions in place. But, I think that you need to, as a father, just always know where your priorities are at, right? And if that's your kids, then you need to just make sure that they're always number one, and everything else will kind of fall into place. If you have their best interests at heart, you don't have to worry about any kind of decisions that you need to make or any kind of tough situations that you may be facing, because you'll always have your priority, and you'll always have their best interest, which is always going to be a win for you at the end of the day. You're a dad, so even if you're making tough decisions, as long as you're doing it with their best interest, you'll always kind of just be on the right path and always be doing what, in my opinion, or my personal belief, is just going to be always be doing what a dad is supposed to be doing. And that can only kind of help everybody in the family at the end of the day.
Man, that is beautiful. Thank you so much, D.
No doubt, man.
This is refreshing.
No doubt.
This is so refreshing. This is so cool, man. We haven't talked in such a long time.
We haven't,
And,
man.
but you know what? When you're that close to someone, like I'm close to you, like, just talking to you, I don't feel like I miss anything. I miss you, but as a friend, I don't feel like I neglected you. I don't feel like I did anything wrong. But when I talk, and I think that we had to grow up. We had to experience dadhood differently, and then get our mind together, and then we can share this thought that we're doing right now. So I am so humble, and I'm so glad that you were able to come to this podcast and share this. It means so much to me, man. This project in itself is so meaningful to me, because the vision that I have for it is so much bigger than what I can even imagine, and it's just growing. And the fact that you're able to tell me your journey as dadhood, man, is phenomenal. And because you were a dad before I was, I learned so much from you. I'm still learning from you. I only have one kid right now, and I would like to have another. We would like to have another, but we're just taking our time. And I love the dad that you are to your kids. I love the way you are affectionate. I love the way you make time for them. I watch you guys on Instagram, and I see videos, I see pictures and stuff. I love the way you guys love. I love the way you are so affectionate and intentional with your kids. It's so amazing, man. It's so cool. It's so wonderful, and I love it. You and your wife are an example to many. I know some of us may not say that, or we may not realize that, but you are an example to a lot of Black couples out there. You're an example to a lot of dads out there, Black dads all around. You are doing it. Parenthood is not easy. Parenthood is not easy at all, man. It's not easy. And as you said, and as I'm wrapping up, it's not easy. Like Daniel said, be intentional, one, and two, there's no instruction with that. There's no instruction with being a dad. There isn't. But you have to willingly want to become a dad. You have to want to be a dad for you to accept that. Once you accept being a dad, everything else comes a little easier, because love will come easy. Love comes natural. But you would have to accept being a dad first. Being a dad is an everyday job. You don't just stop. It's an everyday job, and you're not stopping. I'm not stopping, and we're continuing. I love the example that you are being. I love who you are. I love all that you stand for, man. And again, I'm so happy that you're able to come here and share your experiences of dadhood, your experiences as being a husband to your wife. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for the laughters that we have. Thank you for the stories that you can share, the memories that we share together. Man, I appreciate everything about you, man. You are amazing. You are great. You are just a phenomenal dad.
Appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you, man. And I told you earlier, man, I look to you guys. You guys are an inspiration too. You are fantastic parents. Fantastic parents. Keep doing your thing. You and Jess. I mean, Jess. I grew up with Jess. She's like a sister. So, I mean, you're right. I mean, we don't talk as much, but we don't skip a beat when we get on the phone. I mean, I've had this conversation with many people. It's crazy, because with technology and stuff, you're seeing stuff on Instagram. It's like you're growing up together anyway, right? It's just so close. It's just like, yeah, I know. Yeah, where did PJ go? Oh, he went over there. Cool. He's traveling. He's going all over the place. Da, 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 da. It's like you don't skip a beat once you talk to the person. So I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you. It's an honor kind of being part of your movement here and what you're trying to do with this Dear Dad podcast. Definitely so humbled to kind of be a part of it. I'm here anytime. If you need me to come again, like, let's just have this conversation again, man. And now I'd love to kind of just be part of it. And we're extremely honored to kind of to kind of be chosen to be part of it. And I love you guys to death, but it's been really good. And I just hope that you just continue to keep doing what you're doing and sharing your experiences and sharing this podcast and the experiences of this podcast, because I think it's going to help a lot of people, especially black couples coming into their own, having kids and being able to kind of just share the experiences that we black dads do, across our platform.
Yes, man. Yes. And I will definitely have maybe another panel of black dads.
Nice.
Just have open dialogue or open conversation. Maybe when this COVID thing goes down, I'm looking forward to doing some great things. So once this stuff go down, my wife and I already start brainstorming and stuff that we want to do and need to do for this podcast.
Cool.
Making it a business, making it a company, making it something that we can actually make some kind of revenue from. But
nice.
in all to say that, man, I look forward to talking to you again. I'm so humble and so thankful for your presence, man. I love your energy, dude. You always had this explosive energy, and I even still today as a dad, I don't know where you get all that energy from.
Oh man,
I love your energy.
I can't tell you.
I love your energy, and I love who you are. Thank you for being a friend, man. Thank you for being a friend. So as we wrap up, guys, I just want to thank you again for joining me at Dear Dad Podcast. This was a conversation needed for me personally, because this is my childhood friend. We grew up, and like I said before, we grew up literally in the same church. We grew up and we went to places, play basketball. We went to all this stuff that he was talking about. That's what we were doing. Friends, my sister, my wife, Jessica, they were all of us were in the same little boat. Okay, so now we become adults, and we are into motherhood and dadhood. It's a phenomenal job, and I love it. And I love it. I love you, and I love your family. Love your wife. I love all of you guys. Thank you so much. So, guys, I'm not gonna hold you guys any longer. I want to thank my guest Daniel Marcellus for coming through. I love you so much, guys. So again, guys, I'm not gonna hold you guys any longer. Thank you, and until next time, I'll catch you in a few. Bye. For more Dear Dad podcasts, visit Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows. Make sure you check Dear Dad Podcast on your favorite Instagram social media platform at Dear Dad Podcast. Catch you later.